Hi, and welcome to Run Tall with Tim. I'm Tim. I'm glad you're here, so thanks for tuning in. I hope you're happy, healthy, and staying safe. On today's video, I'm going to be taking a real close look at the New Balance Fresh Filmora V3 after 150 miles. Now, the New Balance Fresh Filmora V3 is one of my favorite max cushion daily trainers for 2021. And one of the more frequently asked questions I get is about its durability and whether or not I think this shoe is going to last or go the distance. So that's what we're going to be focused on today. So stay tuned. But before I get into it too far, I always like to demonstrate what it looks like to run in the shoes I'm about to review for you. So let's do that. But then when we come back together, I'm going to take a real close look at the New Balance Fresh Filmora V3 to see how it's holding up after 150 miles. Now these cost $165 US, and I think that's a little bit on the high side, but we're going to talk more about the durability during this video to see if you're going to get your money's worth. These are neutral road shoe. I did order mine true to size, and they fit me perfectly. For a men's size 9, they have a stated weight of 10.2 ounces or 289 grams. For a women's size 8, they come in at 8.9 ounces or 255 grams. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Run Tall family. I'm glad you're here. Now, I post running shoe reviews, comparisons, and shoe battles weekly, but I also like to post other videos related to running as well. So if you enjoy watching running shoe reviews and other videos about running, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time that I upload new content. Now, this video is not intended to be a full review of the shoe, but if you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description below to a review that I completed on these previously. So in this video, I'm going to be focused primarily on that Fresh Foam X midsole foam and the outsole, see how that's holding up, talk about that just a little bit. I will take a quick spin or look around the upper to see if any issues have come up there. So let's start with the Fresh Foam X midsole foam that they have. And again, they have a lot of it. They have a 38 millimeter stack height in the heel and 34 millimeters up in the forefoot. So they have that 4 millimeter offset. Now this is a really soft, it definitely is a max cushion daily trainers, super comfortable on foot. Not the fastest shoe in my rotation, but they're not intended to be. They're intended to give you a nice plush ride where you can just go a long distance very comfortably, and they do that remarkably well. One thing I will say though, as we take a quick look at the midsole material or a closer look at that, you can start to see some compression marks, especially on the lateral side of the shoe after 150 miles. And I have noticed that they're not quite as springy, or they don't bounce back quite as fast as they did when I first got them. You know, that's to be expected after 150 miles, but it kind of tells me that I think it's going to be a little bit on the lower end for this midsole foam. So I'm thinking, you know, 300, 350 miles, probably somewhere in that ballpark. So it's not going to be, at least in my opinion so far, I don't think that these are going to go that 400 or 500 miles that some daily trainers are capable of. I think these are going to be on the lower end of that to maintain all of the comfort. That's not to say that you couldn't still run in them. You're just not going to get as much of the benefit as you did when you first bought them. So let's take a close look now at the bottom of the shoe. We'll take a look at the outsole because there are some things that I want to point out there. And I'm going to try to zoom in and show you kind of where some of the wear has come up over time. So we'll just take a real close look here, and you can see, especially down around the lateral side of the shoe, so this would be in the medial side, and the lateral side of the shoe, you can see that there is definitely some wear marks there on that Fresh Foam X midsole foam that isn't covered with rubber. Now they did a pretty decent job, you know, protecting all of that Fresh Foam X midsole foam, but there are places that are exposed, and those places that aren't covered are definitely seeing a little bit of wear. They're getting chewed up a little bit. Now you may have noticed in that run sequence where, you know, I did have these out on trails, so you know, that's something to consider. I've also put in a number of miles out on the pavement as well as concrete, and I've had these on a treadmill as well. So I've really taken them out pretty much in all of the different environments that you might take yours out in, and I can say that, you know, they perform pretty darn well across the board. My favorite is, of course, as a road shoe, but they're really enjoyable on a treadmill as well. So overall, I think the midsole is holding up reasonably well. They don't have as much bounce in them as when I first got them, but there's still plenty there, and still a lot more than other daily trainers that I have that were new right out of the box. So that's something to consider as well. And I've enjoyed every single mile that I put in these. So it's a really easy shoe to reach for, and it's easy to put a lot of miles on them because I know my legs are going to love me for it. So let's flip these over and we'll take a look at the outsole, see how that's holding up. And you can see that there are some signs of wear, especially where I toe off. And then on the lateral side of the shoe here in the midfoot section, there are some signs of wear there as well. And then there back in the heel area. But for the most part, I think that these are holding up reasonably well for an outsole material. And after having run in them in a lot of different types of environments, I can say that that outsole does do a fairly decent job helping me stick to the road, especially on the concrete and the pavement. So let's take a quick look at the upper and see how that's holding up. Again, they're using an engineered mesh material. It's cloth-like, so it's really soft to the touch. A couple of notes. One is they do still run hot, which works to my advantage right now here in Michigan. Sometimes in the morning already here in November, it is well below freezing. So in some of my more recent videos, you can see where I'm already wearing a winter hat and, you know, kind of bundled up to stay warm. So a little bit warmer upper on foot. You know, that's okay for me right now this time of year. But in the summer, they run really hot. So it's something just to keep in mind depending on where it is you're going to be running. The other note that I want to make is that they still remain to be very comfortable on foot. I still get a nice lockdown feeling. Plenty of room to be able to splay my toes. So a very comfortable upper overall. And after 150 miles, I don't really see any signs of any kind of wear to these. The only other note that I would make is that everything seems to stick to this material. So when I'm out on the trails or even just on the sidewalks right now, there's a lot of leaves that are down. Those leaves, all kinds of stuff just wants to stick right to that cloth-like material, and it's hard to pull out. So if you have pets, keep that in mind because pet hair, things like that can be a bit of an annoyance when it's just stuck to that upper. It just doesn't look very attractive, and it's hard to keep them clean. So overall, I've really enjoyed these shoes over the last 150 miles. I still think they're priced a little bit high for the total number of miles that I expect to get out of them. So another maybe 150 to 200 miles to go. But those first 150 were really enjoyable. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for making it to the end. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.